Well, Canada is one of the most harmonious places in the world, but that is changing as hundreds of thousands of Muslim migrants come here, not just the Syrians, but others who have come here over the past 10, 15 years, from places that are deeply anti-Semitic. And they bring with them not just anti-Western antipathy, but a special hatred for the Jews. That's manifesting itself now in Canadian institutions, including York University, traditionally one of the more Jewish universities in Canada. Here, take a look at this footage we filmed of a giant mural on the university campus of a Palestinian rioter holding a rock as he looks at an Israeli vehicle. And he's clearly about to throw the rock as a rioter. He has the Palestinian keffiyeh on. He shows that he's interested in all of Israel to become Palestine. You can see his little sash. And he's about to commit a murder. This is not some poster. This is not some pamphlet. This is an enormous piece of artwork permanently installed on the wall of York University. And joining me now in studio to talk about this is Willem Hart, a student with Hasbara at York. That's a Hebrew word which basically means we are going to be pro-Israel. We're not going to go silently to the slaughter as Jews did 75 years ago. Is that what does Hasbara actually mean?
Well, literally in Hebrew, Hasbara, lehasbir means to explain. The word's kind of refashioned and interpreted to mean diplomacy or explanation, try to create a dialogue, which is what our purpose is on campus.
So you're fighting against anti-Semitism, really?
For sure.
And where exactly on campus is this mural? And it looks huge. Is it what, like 20 feet by 10 feet kind of thing?
No, it's about 10 feet by 5 feet or so.
So it's life-size, really?
It's fairly big. It's fairly noticeable.
And what building is it in?
This is in the York University Student Center.
So this is affixed to the wall, obviously by the approval of the Students' Union, I presume?
Yes, exactly. By the York Federation of Students, the YFS.
There's no other way to think about this other than a rock-throwing, violent protest, a rioter, and these rocks that killed Jews, not just Israeli soldiers, but civilian men and women. This is part of the Intifada.
This is an image that promotes violence. It's not even a picture of a rioter. It's actually a kind of a peaceful scene. It's a kind of romanticization of the rock throwing that habitually leaves Israelis dead, children and adults alike.
Yeah. And I think that's the very clever propaganda effect of it, is to normalize this. Oh yeah, that's normal. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, in fact, he's the hero. Look at those sculpted arms. He looks, we don't know who this romantic, mysterious man is.
The head is cut off.
Yeah, but we're with him, and this is normal. And it not only telegraphs to new arrivals to Canada from anti-Semitic countries like Syria and Egypt and others, it not only telegraphs to them, we're anti-Semitic here too, we hate Israel here too, but it erodes the peaceful and liberal notions that Old Stock Canadians have, which is we don't hate Jews. We don't solve problems by throwing rocks. It's such a powerful piece of propaganda. How long has it been up on the wall?
The mural was installed in 2013, but just to comment on that, anti-Semitism and especially anti-Israelism in its new form, it's supported by a variety of people at York from different walks of life. People that maybe you would call Old Stock Canadians who are
on the far left, right?
Yes, the far left is where it comes from. That's where anti-Zionism has situated itself.
It's a marriage. The far left, yes. Socialists who are secular, with also Islamic fundamentalists. It's a bizarre coalition, really, of people. I mean,
it's hypocritical.
On the Islamic side, they hate gays, they hate women, they hate the separation of mosque and state, but they team up with secular, atheist, postmodernist, feminists, and even gay activists, which is so surprising to me, because if you're gay in an Islamic territory, you're stoned to death.
Yes, it's bizarre that all the things that the left supports, that purports to support, are just thrown in the wayside in these societies.
I appreciate your correction. It's not just Muslim immigrants here. Of course not. It's the hard left, which briefly had pity for the Jews after the Holocaust.
The honeymoon period.
Yeah, when Israel was started as sort of a socialist country, but they despise Israel because it's successful and free. Now, there's some interesting news, is that a senior Jewish benefactor, a philanthropist, what's his name? Paul Bronfman?
Paul Bronfman, yes.
And tell me who he is, what he had been doing with York University, and what news came this past week.
So Mr. Bronfman, he's a well-known media mogul that they're calling him in the news. He was a benefactor to York, specifically the art and multimedia department. From what I understand, York was given camera equipment and all this other multimedia equipment for the studies, and he said last week, I believe on Friday, if the mural is not down by the end of the day, I'm withdrawing my funding. And that's what he said, and here we are on Wednesday, and the mural is still up there in the Student Center.
Yeah. You know, as I mentioned before, York used to be a very Jewish university, and if you look at their alumni and donors page, it's almost 100% Jewish. If you look at the senior givers, people giving $500,000, $250,000, $1 million or more, it's so bizarre to me that institutions built on tolerance and peace, and frankly, with Jewish charity, are now being hijacked and turned into anti-Semitic weapons. I'm glad that Paul Bronfman has the self-respect to stop funding people who sanctify anti-Semitic writers. Where are the rest of the Jews? Where are the official Jews? Or as Israel Asper used to call them, the Jews of silence. Shh, don't make a fuss.
First of all, I agree with you. I think Mr. Bronfman did absolutely the right thing by pulling his money. If it's his money, if he chooses that York University is not an institution that's worthy of his support any longer, then it is his right to withdraw it. You know, there are Jews fighting. As I said, I'm from Hasbara, York. We're the students on the front lines. We are, advocating for Israel. We are educating the rest of the student body about Israel and anti-Semitism and about the geopolitical conflict, the Israeli-Arab conflict. We're the ones there. We have support from, various community activists, but, before we can go forward with the general community, there has to be a consensus about what to do and an understanding that this is anti-Semitism.
Well, I don't think you need to wait for the most weak-kneed, unmotivated person for you to act, and I think you're with Hasbara. There's other Jewish groups that are more timid on campus. Here's the thing. If this picture were a Ku Klux Klan grand dragon about to torch a black church, or if it was, any other scene that showed an act of violence about to happen, South African apartheid, if it was Nazism, if there was any other odious act that was shown in a romantic way like that, it would be taken down immediately.
No, it wouldn't, because it never would have been put up there in the first place.
That's a good point. You're so right.
And that's why this is anti-Semitism.
The president of York University, the first Muslim university president in Canada, Mamdouh Chokri, I'm tempted to say he's giving this a pass because he himself is Muslim, but in fairness to him, I think many universities, whether their president is Jewish, Christian, or Muslim, this is the new normal on North American university campuses. They have been colonized by a combination of the radical left, which hates the establishment no matter what, and Muslims who have teamed up to bring the Jew hatred from overseas home. Well,
in terms of the president of York, I don't think his background really has anything to do with it, because as you said, at other universities you have administration, from the general Canadian public who have given this a pass all across the board, who don't have the moral authority to say this is wrong and we're going to do something about it.
Why do you mean they don't have the moral authority? Why don't they?
They don't have the moral integrity. I mean, this mural is being defended. This mural is being defended by people who want to say that this is art. I just want to say that this is not art. This is not freedom of expression. This mural, and there needs to be unanimity, and there needs to be a consensus across the board of what this mural is and isn't. This is not art. This is not freedom of expression. This is not a conversation starter about the conflict. This is the product of a person whose mind is so twisted, he sees fit to glorify the terrorists who, without pause, would smash a boulder into the face of a baby, such as Adele Baton in 2013. She was a baby. They smashed a rock into her face, threw it at her car as it was going by on a hilltop, just like in the mural. And it's okay to do that. It's okay to smash a rock into the face of a baby, as long as that baby is a Jew. And that's what this mural represents.
Well, my point is that they would never allow this for any other group other than the Jews.